This is Costa by Roxxare Instant Coaching, and today I'll be analyzing a replay sent by user Feynor playing Zed in Gold to Elo.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Seconds until minions spawn.
So in this matchup, Zed is facing Ahri. A pretty even skill matchup. I would say, played at a perfect level, this matchup simply favors Ahri by a little bit, just because she can charm instantly after Zed ults. But it is by no means an easy matchup for any of the two sides. So we see Zed taking quite a bit of harass level 1, but that's honestly okay because Ahri doesn't have that much damage level 1. But if he keeps getting harassed like this, he's gonna pay for it soon. Ahri pushes the lane into turret, which is honestly not a very good idea against Zed because he can perfectly farm out the turret with his passive. This is a failed gank by Xin Zhao, or he didn't even attempt to gank. But okay, so this is a big mistake by both junglers. We're seeing both junglers showed mid before going to the respective camps. Now this is a very big mistake because it gives too much information to the enemy team about the position of each jungler. Zed uses his skills to farm. Using W at this point to farm is safe because he just survived in order to get a blue. Good harass combo by Zed, even though he takes some damage from Ahri. Again, great harass. This side is being overly aggressive, pushing the wave too much, and taking too much harass from Zed. She's basically not doing anything. Vi gets a good gank top. Zed luckily lives, and I would say greedily stays in lane, chugging his potions. At this point, Ahri could kill him. Like, if Ahri just ulted right now, Zed would be dead. Zed gets his ult, he gets harassed a little bit, he might be forced back. He's probably looking for a flashy player with his ult. Zin's out, and bot lane take a first Infernal Drake. Ahri makes a mistake, Zed kills her. Let's look at this play again. Another 15 seconds. Okay. So, Ahri lets Zed get some free harass. She's been doing this a lot in this lane, and this is a big mistake on her part. And then does not wait. A good Ahri would always wait to use the charm right after Zed has ulted because it's a very easy point blank charm. And she would have lived that way, and she would probably also have killed Zed. Zed pushes away, goes back. Gets a Hex Drinker, which is a very good buy against Ahri. Now at this point the enemy Vi should be looking to gank Zed because he knows he has no ult. Vi is level 7, she has her ult up. And Zed is very easy to gank at this point. Both players taking a lot of harass. Iris using too much mana. Zed gets ulted and dies, but the gank is not very well played. Let's look at the gank again. He gets ulted, queued in. Vi takes an extra auto attack that she should not have taken. She should have let Ari tank a little bit. Bot lane is making a good play, good turret dive. And they should be going for first turret, but Jin decides to go the long way around. They will probably still get it with a new wave coming. But again, that is kind of a mistake by Jin. Alistair makes a mistake and dies. Jin almost also dies, but they manage to kill this one. Okay, so let's go back to Zed. Farming the lane, Aris ganking bottom. Zed is a bit too late to respond to the gank. He should have either followed earlier or kept pushing the wave. Zed gets lucky that Vi does something stupid. He gets an extra kill. He also kills Raven with his ult and goes back to mid. Now, even though that was a poorly executed and late gank, it just went well because Vi was a greedy. She passed over a ward. Zed got vision of her and killed her. And that Raven, even though he saw Vi die, he kept overextending for unknown reasons. And so at this point, Zed is 4-1. Ari is continuing to be very aggressive against Zed, but she knows that he has no ult. But she is not doing a very good job of dodging his harass, so she's still taking a lot of damage. A very bad Jin ult that does nothing. Ari wastes her ult for no reason. A failed gank by Vi. A good flash by Zed dodging the hook. Now Teemo is doing a good job of pushing. Zed gets a little greedy, kills Ari but dies. I think that is still a pretty good play. Like, he could have probably avoided dying if he didn't kill Ari, but he had no way of knowing that Vi was going to come. This is looking like a good gank top. Cannon is being overextended. I think Zed right there. Let's watch this again. Okay. So a nice double shuriken, and at this point, Zed decides to flash onto Cannon instead of ulting, which I think is a very bad decision, but this guy seems to value his ult more than flash, which, although debatable, it's understandable. So now Zed dies due to a stupid overextension and a lack of wards. We see red team has pretty good vision control around mid lane. This is the second time Zed dies to a Vi gank from over here. Zed should have learned that Vi is going to do this a lot, and so he does not anticipate the Vi coming, the Draven coming, and he dies for practically no reason, gets a pick, and this will probably lead his team to losing mid turret. Xin Zhao luckily escapes from Ari. I have to comment on Zed's build path. Rushing the Marmotus is not that efficient. He should have stayed with Hex Drinker and then instantly gone into a Ghost Blade, moving on with the rest of his item build and then finishing Mold the Marmotus. Simply because Hex Drinker itself is a very cost efficient item, while Mold the Marmotus isn't, and the extra damage and extra magic resist isn't enough for the cost of Mo. So it's not a major mistake, but he should have gone for more damage early. Now again, red team has much better vision control around mid lane than blue team. Like we see these pinks at Baron Pit. Zed gets an easy kill on Cannon. However, they can get nothing from it because Dragon is not up and the team is not teaming. Blue team is not teaming out. Xin Zhao is wasting time in the jungle. Teamos are extending a bit. A small skirmish in mid. Draven, for some reason, was chilling bot. Cannon had just respawned. And now Zed makes a very big mistake of going back while his team is fighting the objective. They can probably take it. I mean, they can easily take it, but still, Zed's help would be well appreciated. Maybe they can even take the second turret. Now, blue team makes a mistake of not trying to get the second turret because they know that Bai and Arya are in base. They've seen Cannon top, so the only member mid is Draven. Jhin overextends a bit, but he manages to escape as Vi doesn't have ult. Essentially, probably able to one-shot Cannon at any point here, which is why Cannon is playing super passive. Yeah, easy kill by Zed. In general, this is a pretty well played game by Zed, even though his vision control and ganking are lacking. Blue team manages to get a dragon as Cannon is dead and Ahri's topside. Some small mistakes, Jhin gets caught out. Teemos soon being annoying. Teemos pushing top lane, doing a good job, but this means that the team is losing mid. Zed manages to escape using flash. So at this point, Zed is making a mistake of staying mid. Zed's team has pretty good disengage with Xin Zhao and Alistar Q. So what Zed should be trying to do at this point in the game is split push instead of going mid again and again and again and wasting time, because Zed is not very useful in a team fight, especially against Vi and Ahri, even though Ahri is very behind, so she doesn't deal very much damage. At this point, Zed should be doing what he's going to do right now. He should be going either top or bottom, matching Cannon's split push, since he has kill pressure on Cannon at any point in the game. That means that the enemy team must send at least 2 people to fight Zace at any side lane that he's getting, which makes his team able to easily get objectives or turrets in mid lane. Again, I don't see why Zed should recall at this point in the game. He obviously just needs to get Ghostblade. He makes the mistake again of going mid. If we look at bot lane at this point in the game, Zed has easily kill pressure against Draven, while they can't really do much mid. And furthermore, since the enemy team has Kennen, even though the Kennen is not playing very well, all team fights should be pretty risky. Like, a good Kennen ult can easily turn a team fight. Which means that since I will play Kennen ult can turn a team fight, Zed should not be taking a risk to team fight. I mean, it seems to work out in this game, but this is partially because Zed's enemies are not playing to the best of the champion's potential. Right, so even though the team fight seems to be working, split pushing would have been a much more efficient strategy to easily win the game out, close the game out while taking minimal to no risk. Zed is waiting in base. He gets a black cleaver. Blue team easily gets a dragon. The enemy team, red team has no vision whatsoever in dragon area, which is very well played by blue team. Zed tries to and fails to assassinate Draven. Vi makes a pretty good play, tries to kill Zed. She doesn't make it. Lishang fails a hook. Zed is a little greedy, underestimating Vi's damage. At this point, Vi is the strongest member of the enemy team. Now, Xin Zhao is doing a good job and is doing what Zed should be doing. So he's split pushing. Even though Xin Zhao is not as good a split pusher as Zed at this point in the game, simply because Zed has more damage and has good potential over everyone, Xin Zhao does a great job. Kills Kennen. Should have pushed one more wave in my opinion. So Zed decides to go for the Vampiric Scepter. At this point, I believe the best thing he took, the best thing to take would be some armor, working towards Guardian Angel, because he doesn't really need any more damage, and the lifesteal is not needed as he's not looking to make extended fights. So the healing from his 2 potions is enough. And I would say that the Guardian Angel is going to be very helpful in any team fight or in any 1v1 scenario. A much safer option since he doesn't need damage. Ari is underestimating Zed's damage. And she's also not using Zhonya's as she should. But still, that's a good fight for red team taking a turret. Vi at this point is making a mistake of not trying to push top lane. Zed is consistently making the same mistake of continuing to going mid. Letting Jhin split push bot lane is always a bad idea because Vi, Draven, Ari or Kennen can instantly one-shot Jhin. And Jhin is a very good teamfight champion. He can, with his Gordon's Call. While Zed is a pretty weak teamfight champion. Zed gets caught. I mean, that would not have happened had Zed been bot. Because things like that are going to happen to assassins who try to assassinate any squishy target on the enemy team. But you can't really do that if the enemy team has enough CC and peel. So you're not looking to fight 5v5 or 4v4, you're looking to split push, get the 1v1 or maybe the 2v1 and give the advantage to your team. Of fighting 4v3 or 4v4 mid lane. So Zed is going for the Bilgewater Cutlass. I don't really understand his choice. I would say that in patch 6.1, Blade of the Ruined King is a pretty suboptimal build on Zed. And furthermore, the only real tank the enemy team has is Vi, who should not be a problem for Zed at all, as Vi tends to focus on the carries more. Like, Vi should be trying to go onto Jhin. So Zed should be able to ignore Vi, and as such, she doesn't really need Blade of the Ruined King at this point. So in my opinion, going for Ravenous Hider if he really needed the damage would be better, but you know, as I said before, the Guardian Angel would be the optimal build at this point in the game. Alistar makes a good play. There's the flash Q. Zed assassinates Draven. So blue team is making a mistake. They should not be chasing that Ahri. They get the kill, which is fine, but they should have gone for Baron a long time ago. They get the inhibitor. Again, I would say getting the inhibitor was a mistake. The Baron was pretty much free at this point, which would have made them able to fast recall back, get any turret they wanted really with Baron buff. So Zed finishes the Blade of the Ruined King and goes for a Last Whisper. Again, I feel this is hugely redundant because the only tank the enemy team has is Vi, and he's by far the strongest member on his team. So getting Guardian Angel would have much more value, or any tank item really. I think this Zed is being greedy with his build path, and he can obviously get away with it because he's so far ahead and his team is so far ahead. But in a closer game, this greedy build path could have meant loss for him. That team takes an inhibitor, they take first Nexus turret, and then Jhin decides to move through the turret. He doesn't die, and back to Zed. Zed finishes his Lord Dominix. Again, I want to beat myself. Zed's just chilling in the bush for no reason, preparing for Baron. Blue team should have done a Baron at this point. Like it's practically free. Yeah, they're doing it. Going for the recall, getting the red potion. Xin Zhao gets caught, which is a pretty big mistake on his part. Timo also gets caught. No, he doesn't. Timo manages to escape. Zed is pushing top at this point. That's pretty useless. Like, he should have done that a long time ago, but in any case, better late than never. He gets the turret. I don't understand why he's scared of Vi. Yeah, he dies to Vi. Had he had Guardian Angel, that could have been averted, and he also does not use his Blade of the Ruined King active, that could have saved him, so pretty poorly played by Zed at this point. But honestly, it doesn't even matter. This game is won, the goal difference is too high. The turret difference is super high. Yeah, so Zed doesn't even have to fight in the final fight, and the blue team just goes ahead and finishes the game. So The three main mistakes I noticed in this replay, even though like this game was pretty much a stomp, and I honestly don't see the point of submitting this game for analysis, as in order for us to point out your mistakes, we need to see a game where it's pretty close. Maybe you lose, maybe you win. It doesn't matter. We need, because seeing someone play with a very big goal lead means that he can get away with making a lot more mistakes than he normally would. So three main points: build path. Lord Dominic's card definitely not needed. The enemy team had virtually no armor other than Vi, who was going for a very health stacking build. In fact, the only armor item she had was Guardian Angel. Everything else was health stacking. So, pretty suboptimal buy. Second thing, Blade of the Ruined King. If Zed really needed damage, she should have gone for a Bloodthirster or Ravenous Hydra, or the third Dirk item, whose name I can't remember, the Min is a double item. So I think he went for a greedy build, hugely suboptimal, especially the Blade of the King and the Lord Dominic's Regard. And then again, the build path, prioritizing Yomu's Ghostblade is much more important than getting the early Mortimer Mortius. Then map awareness and warding. Zed failed in warding mid most of the time. He got killed a lot by Vi when he didn't have to, and he was late on following Ari bot lane once, even though it turned out okay because Vi made a mistake. But again, in higher levels of play, this should not happen. And the third and most important one, Zed did not understand his role in this game. So he kept trying to teamfight, which turned out okay simply because he was ahead. But again, in any other game, split pushing would have been much more beneficial to both him, because he gets to get a lot more farm and snowball his lead even more, and his team, because they get to fight for v3 practically, because two people have always have to come bot or top to face off with Zed, as he can 1v1 practically any member of the enemy team, maybe other than Vi, but had he gone for the correct build, that wouldn't have been a problem either. So this was Costa from Roxxare Instant Coaching. Thank you.